been a while. Today I'm making a video about my favorite deck in Flesh and Blood right now. We're kind of in an off season, but I've been experimenting. I've been in the mines. I've been trying to figure out what's good, and I've been liking Ira. And this is kitchen sink. Why is it kitchen sink? Because we're throwing everything at our opponent but the kitchen sink. This idea really came from me just trying to beat Viscerai with Ira, especially the Noah Bagelman list that just blocks you out and then builds rune chance. That was basically impossible unless you're playing a million go-agains. And so I don't think like regular Ira can beat that. And if the regular Ira decks that are like playing a little defensive if they don't beat this deck and they're like even against Enigma and they're bad against New, then like I don't know why you're playing Ira. So I needed to find a build that was good against Viscerai, and I think I found one. The main engine in this deck is 9 even bigger than that's. Basically, I'm the only person in the world who plays this card. I think even bigger than that is one of the strongest cards ever printed. It's basically only a ninja card, but that doesn't matter. It says you can play it only if you've dealt attack damage this turn, and you get to opt 3 at red, 1 at blue. Then reveal the top card of your deck. If it has power greater than the amount of damage you've dealt this turn, you make a Quicken token and draw a card. So the Quicken token gives go again to your next attack action card or weapon attack. We don't want to give our Kodachi's go again because they already have go again. We want to give Command and Conquer go again. We want to give Weakest Link go again. We want to give Censor go again. We want to play broken cards with go again. So I couldn't figure out how to beat Viscerai. I had started putting in cards like, Snatch and Snapdragon Scalers, and that wasn't enough. So I decided to add 9 more Snapdragon Scalers to my deck and call it good. Obviously, giving Command and Conquer go again is crazy. E-Strike draw a card with go again, also extremely good. Snatch with go again. Even cards like Take the Tempo with go again is very good in ways that other people, maybe they're not seeing. It's even better because you get to opt and know the other cards in your deck. And that's another reason why even bigger than that is so good in this deck, because paired with Mask of Momentum, the ops are just way stronger than they would be in other decks. So if you get to opt off of your red even bigger than that and see the next 3 cards and sculpt the rest of your hand, you get to do things like Kodachi, Snatch with go again that they have to block out because they know I'm going to draw a good card off the second card that I draw. And then we get to go E-Strike with go again, maybe off another even bigger than that. And then draw a card that we know about, and then Threaten Mask of Momentum draw on a card that we know about. It's just so much stronger than just Mask Momentum hits, draw a random blue 2, arsenal it, hope you get Command and Conquered. So playing 9 even bigger than that means we need to really finagle our blue base in order to make it work. The only blue that we're playing in this deck that doesn't reveal to even bigger than that off a single Kodachi is Warmonger's Diplomacy because the card's broken. But I kind of want to cut it. It's not that good. It's whatever. It's good to Dash IO. It's not good to Viscerai. It's just kind of whatever. But all the other ones are just the best 2s I could find. This isn't a Flick Flack deck. I'm not interested in blocking with this deck, so we cut all the Flick Flacks, cut all the Sink Blows. There's not a single defense reaction in this deck. We just don't care about it. I am just going to hit my opponents until they die, basically. And the great part about that is that my opponents never know that I'm just going to show up with 9 Snapdragon Scalers in my deck. So they're like, oh, I guess I'll just block out more. And then, I Kodachi for 1 and 2 them, and then I deal damage over their blocks, and suddenly they're at 1 and 2, and now they're getting Kodachi locked. And, like, the goal of this deck is I want to get my opponent to Kodachi lock as fast as possible. Other Ira decks are looking to abuse Ira's hero ability and get as many +1s as possible. I think that's fine. But I think the +1 is really only strong when it's paired with a disruptive attack. Like, giving +1 to Command and Conquer is obviously crazy. Same with Weakest Link, Erase Face, Humble. The great thing about this deck is we're also favored into Enigma. We just attack Enigma a bunch. a lot of Enigmas think, oh, I can just kind of wait around against Ira, and then eventually I'll play a big turn off like a Mirror Guy or a 10k, and then I can disrupt their arsenal and we'll be fine. Well, my deck's not going to let you do that. If you are just like kind of regularly blocking this deck, you're going to start taking 16 pretty fast. Especially if you have 0 blocks in your deck. Like, if you let me draw off a mass trigger because your hand is a bunch of 0 blocks, things are going to get hairy real quick. We do play Double Strike plus Shuko for that matchup, as well as Hurls, although we're not really trying to activate the Hurl ability very often, only if we really need to or if it's going to kill our opponent. We have 3 2-cost interactive interactive attacks in our sideboard. Erase Face and Humble for Viscerai. We just want as many interactive pieces as possible. We want as many ways to just turn off Mordred Tide as possible, so we're playing both of them. We play Weakest Link and Erase Face for Aurora. We play Weakest Link for Enigma. We play Erase Face and Weakest Link for New. We play Weakest Link and Humble for Zen. What other decks are even in the meta? I think that's all of them. In the mirror, they all kind of suck, but we play Flying Kick, Hurl, Double Strike in the mirror. We have 2 down and dirties for the Codex decks. By far our worst matchup is anything that runs Codex, because Frailty is just crazy against this deck. So I needed a way to try and gain percentage points into that. So whenever our opponent attacks or plays a Codex of Frailty, we're just going to gain 2 extra value instead of trying to, attack with any sort of card or whatever. So we're just, because if our opponent plays a Codex, we're just blocking with our whole hand anyways. We just can't do anything. So we're getting down and dirty if they do that. I have 1 energy potion in the sideboard for Jarl. If Jarl's better, maybe I'll play another one, but I doubt it. I think Jarl's pretty bad. So, and then Zephyr Needle is for decks that don't play Sink Below. So that's not very many decks, but Aurora, we can play this against because we're also playing Nolar and Gloves against Aurora, so we don't get got by Sigil of Suffering. We also play Zephyr Needle into Azalea because we just need to deal as much damage as possible, as fast as possible, so that we don't get hit by 3 Codex of Frailties or Red Ledgers. Some other cards in the main that are pretty important. Remember, 100 Winds and Winds of Eternity do actually combo with each other. Your 2-card 100 Winds, Winds of Eternity hand is a 2-card 8 that puts 2 threats back in your deck. It's not nothing. Stab Wounds is a 2-card 8 with 2 blues, or a 2-card 7 with 2 blues, which is pretty good. Sometimes you can even get a Shuko trigger out of it if you're really crazy about it. Rowdy Locals is a 2-card 5 on hit discard a card. So the way this works is you go, if you have 2 blues including a Rowdy Locals, you go Kodachi for 1, Kodachi for 2, and then Rowdy Locals. Rowdy Locals threatens the Mask of the Momentum on it, which draws a card, and you get to stack the Rowdy Locals trigger so that you discard the card first, and then, or you draw the card first, and then you discard a card, so that you can always threaten to disrupt your opponent basically for free. And then if they try and block it, well, now we just got a 2-card 7 off of our 2 blues, which is great. Nasty Surprise, we're just trying to get as much we're just trying to get as many percentage points into the Codex decks as possible. Like, it's not great, but we do what we gotta do. Censor is really interesting in this deck, and now I'm just gonna go into every single hero and what you're gonna name on Censor, and it's gonna take a bit. Arachne, we name Codex every time. Aurora, we name Arc Lightning if they're on a 5-card hand. If they're on a significantly lower card hand, maybe name Gone in a Flash. Like, if they're on a 2-card hand, you probably name Gone in a Flash because they're probably going to Gone in a Flash Sigil of Solace you. Azalea, we name Codex or Red in the Ledger. If their Tunic is up, then you name Codex, and if their Tunic is not up, then you name Red in the Ledger is probably the answer. Betsy, You name that new card that's actually good, the one where they discard a card, or you discard a card and they draw a card if it hits. I don't even know the name, you'll just have to look it up. Bravo, you name Starstruck. That card basically says we do nothing if it hits. Dash IO. After the High Octane ban, it's kind of unclear, but it's probably Cerebellum Processor or Spark of Genius. It depends on how many cards they have in their hand. If they have like a 1-card hand, you probably just name Processor. If they have a large hand, Spark of Genius gets better because then they get to start doing crazy stuff with Spark for Processor. Dash Inventor Extraordinaire. This deck is unplayable, so they're going to be on control, so probably Command and Conquer. Dorothea Iron Song. We don't run any defense reactions, but they're probably not bringing Glistening Steelblade into us anyways, so we're probably not naming Glistening Steelblade. We're instead going to name Steelblade Supremacy. If they have a 5-card hand, and if they have a 2-card hand, we are naming Warrior's Valor. Enigma. If Censor hits against Enigma, it's a miracle because nothing ever hits against Enigma. But if it does, that means they're probably keeping a Mirror Guy hand. So we either name Mirror Guy, or we're going to name one of the Chi cards, or one of the blues that they use to turn on the Chi. It's really kind of a crapshoot, so. But probably just Mirror Guy. Fi. You can name Phoenix Flame if they have a 3-card hand. If they have a 5-card hand, you name Salt the Wound. Florian. If Censor hits, then you want to name either of the Decomposed cards that are broken. So one of those, Plow Under or Felling of the Crown. In the mirror, we name Command and Conquer because all the cards suck. Jarl. We name Oakenold if they're keeping 4 cards or 3 cards, and then if they're keeping a 2-card hand, you probably name Command and Conquer. Kano. Name Energy Potion, or yeah, you name Energy Potion if they're on a 1-card or 2-card hand. Kasai. They can't play Cashin anymore, so you name Blood on her hands if she has Copper. If she doesn't have Copper, then you name Blade Runner. Katsu. This deck doesn't exist, but you name Surging. You name Whelming Gustwave. KO. You name Blood Rush Bellows. Levia, you name Blood Rush Bellows. Max the Hype Nitro is not a deck. I literally have no idea what you like. They literally can't play the game. New, you name Codex. Basically, no matter what. Olympia, this is not a deck. But if you had to name something, like Censor doesn't matter against them because they're only ever attacking with the axe. But maybe they're on hatchets. You name Blade Runner. If they're on the axe, you name Command and Conquer. Auxilio, you name Gone in a Flash if they have shown you a Gone in a Flash. If they haven't, you could name anything, but I would probably still name Gone in a Flash. Prism, Awakener of Soul, you name Herald of Erudition. I think that's the only, or you could name one of the, you could name like Wrath or something like that, but probably just Herald of Erudition. Rhinar, you name Blood Rush Bellows. Riptide. Against Riptide, Codex of Frailty is what we're naming every time. I think there's no other card is crazy enough. Sir Bolton, we name Lumina Ascension. Teklevossen, we name Singularity if they have all of their armor up. If they don't have all of their armor up, then we name, I don't even know, like one of the Evos. Just like one of them. Doesn't matter which one. Like whichever Evo they don't have, we name it. Usury. Name Codex of Frailty. Verdance. Verdance is kind of a weird one. You probably name either Felling of the Crown or Plow Under. If you're arsenaling a card, you probably name Plow Under. If you're not, then you name Felling of the Crown. Victor Goldmane. You name Spinal Crush, maybe, or maybe Visit the Goldmane Estate, if they're keeping cards. I would try and get a read, maybe think about how many gold they have, and then probably name Visit the Goldmane Estate, because that's usually the only cards they're really happy about playing out off of larger hands. Viscerai, we name Mordred Tide if they're on a large hand. If they're on a small hand, you name either Read the Runes or you name Malefic Incantation, or you could also name Sonata Galaxia. You could also name Become the Arknight, but I would probably name either Malefic or Read the Runes on a small hand. Vincent, you name Malefic Incantation if they have no Malefics on board. If they have Malefics on board, then you name... all our cards suck, so... And they're all replacement level. Like you probably name Phantom Wraith. Against Zen, we name Crouching Tiger. There, that's all of them. That's all the Censor targets. We found them all. Okay, is there anything else to say about this deck? I think this is just the most fun deck in the game. Like, we use all these generic staples in such an interesting way with even bigger than that. We get to attack with the Go-Again. The weakest link is crazy in this deck. Like, when you hit with weakest link and draw a card, you're just feeling on top of the world. And especially because if it has Go-Again, then that means your cards just do even more stuff. Mask Momentum just feels so good in this deck. It's just so much better in this deck than any other deck I've played. Even like the old Kodachi Phyllis, like... Mask Momentum feels way better in this deck just because we get to play these Command and Conquers for 7, Weakest Links for 7, all that stuff. Let me know in the comments if you have any more questions, and I'll see you guys later.